I had to.
Okay, we are. Good morning, fellow Toastmasters and potential Toastmasters. Welcome to Wake Up with Toastmasters. My name is Ken Richardson. I am the District 115 Club Growth Director, and with me today is, of course, my lovely co-host, Phyllis Tribby, Distinguished Toastmaster, past District Governor, and our guest today, Jerry Simon. Jerry, Phyllis, welcome to both of you.
Good morning, Ken, and good morning to our audience. Hello, Jerry.
Hey there.
You froze there for a minute, Phyllis, which is always, the way of technology. It sneaks up on you from time to time and doesn't do what you expect it to do. But anyway, why don't you introduce Jerry to our audience and get us started to talk about his journey in Toastmasters. I'm going to check our Facebook page and make sure it's functioning.
Absolutely. Our guest today is Jerry Simon. And I met Jerry maybe 20 years ago when I was a sponsor for his new club, Burt Toast 2. After that, when I became the division director, he became one of my area directors. So we're very happy that he has come to talk to us today about his life in Toastmasters and about his club, Burt Toast. So welcome, Jerry.
Thank you so much for that lovely introduction. This is a new process for me, but I like it. And I think it's something that certainly we in Toastmasters need to brush up on so that I can get on smoother and maybe others like me could do the same.
Absolutely. It's one of the things. Visitors. Oh, yes, we do love to have visitors. And we do, that's the one thing, Jerry, about Toastmasters is learning new technology, learning new ways to do things. And certainly the pandemic has caused us to do that. So
yes,
I want to start though today. Why did you join Toastmasters, Jerry? What led you to Toastmasters in the first place?
Well, the other lady on the screen, she's the reason I joined Toastmasters. She's a person that has a lot of conniving skills of influence. Look, she's like your older sister that's trying to get you to do something that's good for you, that you really don't have time to do, but she's basically gonna twist your arm until you say yes. So Phyllis was that person, and a very good mentor of mine, Faye Duncan Daniel, was the other person. And when those two ladies come at you, you can't, that's it. So I became a Toastmaster for life.
All right. Well, that's terrific. How long have you been in Toastmasters, Jerry?
Phyllis could tell you better. And I think it's 2002 or 2003 when her and Faye recruited me. So it's been a while.
Excellent. Excellent. And what keeps you in Toastmasters?
I love it. I love it. It actually is, it gives a summary of those things that I believe are important in our civilization, in our lives, personal as well as society. People have always, since the beginning of time, moved around in tribes, and people identify with their tribe. It could be a neighborhood, it could be a race, could be a culture, it could be a number of different things. And in my life, I've seen how the tribe protects you and takes care of you, help you to develop. By me growing up in a very destitute part of Louisiana back in the, my goodness, 50s and 60s, it was quite a jump to begin to travel around the world and interface with other cultures, other people. And of course, with the communications, Toastmasters helped me understand that entire process and how to actually use the skills that I had to get better skills and to share the ones I had with others who were helping to mentor me. So we're all helping each other. That's why I stay in. It's always new. Phyllis, she's a dear. I mean, I know she seems like a taskmaster, and she is, but she's one of the sweetest people on the planet. And I credit her with getting me to join, because when she cornered me, there were at least 5, 6 other big organizations in Las Vegas that were trying to recruit me and my time and the office I worked with, which was Gang Task Force. But she and Faye Duncan Daniels were successful, and it's been great from then on.
Well, you're right on with your description of Phyllis. She keeps me straight. I tell you, I don't know what I would do without her, because she is just wonderful to have as my co-host, and she makes it easy, you know, and makes it pleasant. I wanted to follow up on something you and I, before we started the show today, talked a little bit about, and that was the impact of the pandemic on your club, particularly Burnt Toast 2. You've gone through some trying times, haven't you?
Yes, and you know, it's like giving birth. You know, I've got 3 of my own kids and 3 adopted ones I raised. So my wife knows more about giving birth. Burnt Toast 2 was given birth after the Rodney King riots in Los Angeles, which had Burnt Toast 1 here in Las Vegas, and a large number of community people that didn't quite have all of the messaging and information and everything, but there was violence from LA that was coming here to Vegas. So Faye Duncan Daniel and a number of community organizations, including some of the leaders in Toastmasters, actually reached out to the community on a community basis, which is real. It's not a cop showing up in a uniform. It's not a social worker coming with her equipment and groups and this and that. It's real people holding hands and embracing each other to get through a very difficult time. Here in Vegas, there were vehicles being turned over and set fire, just like in LA for Rodney King. So Burnt Toast 1 intrigued me that there was a healing force here in Las Vegas that was actually helping. And Faye Duncan Daniel was one of those. And of course, Phyllis knows everybody. And when they hit me with that, I was like, yes, because I grew up in the housing projects in a very poor area in the ghetto, and wound up with the scholarship at Loyola University, which is one of the most expensive universities in the country because of organizations like Toastmasters. So there's no real way that I could turn my back once Phyllis and Faye, 2 women, you know, that I admire greatly, when they come at you, all you can do basically is just say, okay, I'll try it out. And when I did, it just took off. There's no way I can leave it.
Well, tell me about how the pandemic has impacted Burnt Toast too, because I know a lot of clubs have struggled during the pandemic.
Well, pandemic has been tough, kind of like the Rodney King. You see, with Rodney King, the community is in uproar, turning over vehicles, not on LA, but here. Same thing with this pandemic. The communities are in an uproar. Communication, when things are in communication aren't clear, it's like the military, which I'm a veteran. In the middle of a situation, people aren't going to stop and start repeating like we had to do this morning with the technology. It's life or death, and you know who's got your back, you know who's going to travel with you, who you're running with, and that's how law enforcement operate. That's how Toastmasters operate. You've got people that always have your back, you know, so this is the same thing. The pandemic spread us out, had us afraid. When Rodney King's situation happened here in Vegas, people were afraid. And now it's just starting to come back around to where people feel comfortable, but Toastmasters made it through. And I compare both of those things. Phyllis and Faye Duncan Daniel may be the only other 2 people in the country that can see a direct tie between the devastating riots in LA and other places, but here in Vegas as well, from the Rodney King situation and this pandemic, where people just don't trust each other. You know, you don't know if they're going to cough on you or what.
Well, Burnt Toast 2 has been meeting online for a while, right?
Yes, sir.
And you and I talked, you're planning on sort of getting back together in person. How's that process going?
That process is coming along. It will be almost a repeat of where Faye and I and Phyllis started. My goodness, back in 2002, 2003. It'll be a repeat, but there are people in the network that were interested over the past 10 years that I believe will come to the table and join up. And there's people that were in that are now more comfortable going back to work, putting the kids in daycare, school, and they will be able to show up either on Zoom. I hope that there will be some in-person things now that the governor has lowered the mask requirements. We're looking at, as a club, being able to reopen our in-person meetings, which is huge. It's huge in Toastmasters. We need it, and I believe that we can bring it up from the ashes, like the Firebird, you know, and that it will. I mean, my goodness, look who you got on the screen. You got Phyllis. There's no
Well,
way you.
Yes,
Speaking
well,
of
there is
fellas.
fellas. I'm wondering, I'm seeing a lot of hybrid clubs. And what happens in a hybrid club is there's only 3 or 4 people, if that many, in person, and you get maybe that many on the screen. And I
Yeah.
was just thinking, what would a situation be with maybe the first meeting of the month and the third meeting of the month were in person, and the second and fourth were on Zoom? Either or, but not both at the same time. Would something like that possibly work?
I think that's an excellent idea, and certainly, for it to go into action, I'll need to hold hands with at least 2 or more others. It's kind of like the old military and law enforcement training, 2 or more. So, and at this point, we are having a few people shuffle in and out. So it would mean me actually talking with them face to face and seeing where their journey is. And then, of course, helping them, like we're doing, to share what some obstacles are and why should I add one more thing on to the burdens of this mixed up life that's happening right now. And so that's going to be the big step. And having more than, I'd say, more than 15% of any club should not have, I think, dual and triple dual and quadruple dual members, because it's like 2 grocery stores selling their inventory to each other and raising the amount on the public that walks in. We need new blood. We have to reach out in the same ways that these 2 successful ladies reached out to me. I had no idea that I would become a lifelong Toastmaster, but yes, I will be there. A few of our members that maybe can only make 1 meeting a month with the choices. I love those choices, Phyllis. And Ken.
I'm going to suggest it to my clubs, because what
Yeah.
happens is I'm in 2 clubs, and 3 of those members, actually 4, are the same people. The 4th one does not appear.
Right.
So, then all of a sudden you're doing the same roles every week or twice a month. It gets to be, I'm sorry to say it, but you get tired.
Yeah.
Tired. And there's some people that can keep their enthusiasm going every time, or the minute the screen lights up, they turn that enthusiasm on and keep it going. But in their background, they're getting tired. So I write about the dual members. It's great when we have someone that needs help with their club and we go in and we help their club. But when you've got members that are all the same in 2 different clubs, it gets to be, is this really a valuable Toastmaster group? Because we're learning the same things in both groups and presenting possibly the same stories. So you're right, we need new blood, absolutely. We need people that, maybe there's got to be a restriction. No more than 2 clubs, or maybe no more than 3 clubs. It gets to be where I don't believe that we are presenting ourselves the best way when we have to do it so many times in a week or a month.
Yeah. I hear you loud and clear. And I'm thinking that I think that there's room for Toastmasters to look at some hybrid type ideas in terms of, like, we never thought when we first were in this that we'd be doing a meeting by Zoom. We'd been like, what do you mean Zoom? What's that?
Never happened.
Yeah, it's crazy. There's always been a small group of people that share, a number of clubs that they are helping to mentor and helping to do things with. So that is a proven procedure. What I think is a hybrid approach to where we are going is reaching out. I've always, with Burnt Toast, reached out to what I call the Rodney King group. These are people like Faye and like Phyllis that will tell you what's on their mind. They don't hold a whole lot back, but they are a breath of such fresh air that they captivate your interest. And the people at the medium to low income level here in Las Vegas that are struggling sometimes have a choice. Do I go to Toastmasters or do I go do my shift at the job? Well, no, you don't have that choice. You go to your job. You work Maslow hierarchy of needs. You have to have food and shelter first before you get to the upper needs like Toastmasters and on. And of course, that's more of a clinical definition of what hit Toastmasters. But if you read Maslow, it's very, very clear. We Toastmasters on the screen right now, us 3 I can see, we're way at the top of the Maslow pyramid. We feel like it'd be hard to continue living without Toastmasters just because of what we believe in and what we're willing to go out and share with the group of people that we know need this. And I mean, my goodness, my club, I would say 80% of my club over 10 years have helped to fund membership fees and everything for people because they couldn't even make the minimum payments for Toastmasters. This is what burnt toast is. It's like a phoenix. You take the ashes of something that's burned and you build something else, and it's even more incredible each time you rebuild it. And Phyllis knows because she's been a big part of that phoenix coming back to life every time.
Now, Phyllis, I wanted you to follow up on that and talk about, I think you have some great ideas. What other suggestions or ideas, the alternating between in-person and hybrid, that's very creative, and that might help a lot of people. But what I've seen, because recently, like Bon Appetit, we were hybrid. Now we're going to be only in person. A couple of other clubs like Windjammers that way. What kind of tools do you see that would help Jerry to rebuild Burnt Toast to beyond those you've already suggested? Anything that you can offer him here?
Well, it's great that, we who have been in Toastmasters for a number of years see all the benefits. And sometimes it's hard to explain to new people how much we have changed.
Yes.
I actually came from a person that sat in the corner and never talked at all to being on the stage and talking to 3,500 people. And they don't see that in me. They only see what I present now after all of my training in Toastmasters. Right. So it is difficult to get those new people that desperately need it to come into Toastmasters. And I think you're right. Some of it has to do with fees and time. It's, I don't know, it's as serious as either or, but it is serious. I mean, people have to take care of themselves first and come into the meeting. And I believe that in-person meetings are definitely what new people need. The Zoom
Yes.
meetings are not, they just don't have the feel in them, the personal touch that the in-person meeting has. So as I say, I'm thinking about, there are those people that only want to do Zoom. We have a travel agent and she can connect with us from any place that, you know, she happens to be. Then
Mhm.
you have the people that want that in-person experience and only want to come to in-person meetings. And they're both a force that have to be satisfied. You know, we have
Yes.
to do both.
And I wanted to interject here. I got a message from Carol, who is in Washington, D.C. She's one of our members, and she just happens to be a little bit distant from Las Vegas right now, but this is where she's from. And she says she appreciates Jerry's outreach for the Rodney King group. We've built one of her clubs by because of the mentoring relationship and what have you. And many of this is a problem she brings up. I don't want to say it's a problem. It's kind of a good problem because their hybrid experience has been very positive. They have a fair number of members who are out of the area who would not be able to participate at all if it weren't for using Zoom. And she points out another part of the problem is where Toastmasters International doesn't allow us to do hybrid contests. They either have to be all online or all in person. And that's a problem for some of our members who are not local. For example, in my home club, Early Risers, we're online. We've been online and we're still online. But we have a member who lives in Texas. So we have a problem that's similar to what Carol is alluding to in her comments. But you know, we can still do the mentoring. We can still build a club through a hybrid model or an all online or all in person model, because I think the core values of Toastmasters and the things that we preach to our members and the models that we follow translate into these different formats. So I think Carol's right, as are both of you, that we have to be encompassing. We have to embrace different avenues for reaching our members and making them feel a part of the club, whether it's on Zoom or in a hybrid setting or in person. So that's a good reflection. So thank you, Carol, for joining us and talking about that. What other comments or suggestions might you have? Anything else there, Phyllis, you want to share with us on your perspective for rebuilding clubs?
I respect. No, as I say, I'm wondering about a location. Is there a location? Have you found something where you could do an in-person meeting? Or are you just now looking at it with your club?
The folks that we've always used at our location they said, just come on back and we'll figure a way, because they have an open patio and they have a little meeting room in the back. And we've been really good to them because, you know, we used to bring in several $100s, you know, twice a week, twice a month for our meetings, because everybody would eat in there and then go to the meeting in the little room. So yes, I think it's right on target. But like anybody else in this time period, we all have to adopt new methodology, not new practice necessarily, but just new methodology, because what we do very well. And I think what's not measured is what us three share. And, you know, without Faye being here and a few others, and you know them, you know all the key people that from years ago, we have, if we haven't seen each other in a year and we see each other, it feels like it's only been a couple of days. You know, when I see Jesse and his wife, it's like, oh, man, where you been, man? You know? And it's like, oh, it's like we just left the meeting last week or something, and watching his career. I mean, you know, that's amazing in itself. But there's so much that I've seen Toastmasters do in the community, the parents of gang members that we began recruiting way back. That's related to Rodney King, and that's related to Toastmaster principles, because communication, how else are you going to improve your life and your relationships and in life without communications? And how will you have communications without Toastmasters?
And that's a good point that you bring up there, Jerry, is the communication skills are absolutely crucial. Yes. Another thing that Carol brings up, I want to get this question. She posted a question for us, is how do you handle the transition for remote members who want to but can't necessarily attend in person? Because we talked about the fact that we have clubs that are strictly in person now, and some that are online, and some that are hybrid. Phyllis, how would you address that Carol's question here?
Well, I would say that if you are a club that has allowed members to join your club that are out of your area and cannot attend in person, that it is not beneficial to your members to go into an all-person meeting. You have to satisfy everybody in the group. And when you allow members that are from out of your area to join, then you have to continue on. Windjammers, I know, had a member that was from England. She had been a member of Windjammers a long time ago. And when she found them on Zoom, she came back. But eventually she was no longer a member. So all of their members were currently in Las Vegas, and they went to an all in-person meeting. That makes sense to me. But if I have a member that is in Reno, Carson City, now for my club to say, oh, we're going to be in person only from now on, that would not be fair. That would not be being of service to our members. Correct. So I don't think it, whatever. Yeah, I mean, they always say the club rules, but no, you've got to satisfy all of your members, I believe.
I think you're right, spot on there, Phyllis, because the way to do it is, what I understand Windjammers did is they recognized that they lost their remote member. They had only local members and made the decision at that point. Yeah. So people who visit Windjammers will know, okay, they only meet in person. But I'm like you, if you make a commitment to accept a member who is remote, as we have in my Early Risers Club, we're not going to abandon that person. We're not going to, if we do decide to meet in person at some point, it won't be exclusively in person. We will continue hybrid because our members are split. I don't know, Jerry, about your members, but about half of my members, they love hybrid, or they love being online, I should say. And the other half, they hate it. They want to be back in person. So how do you accommodate both? Well, you create hybrid opportunities. Yeah. And right now the club has voted to stay online. So I'm not sure, where we will be. I do notice, however, we've got about 2 minutes left, and I want to give both of you an opportunity to sort of wrap things up here. Jerry, any final words for our online audience today?
Yes, with the route that we will be taking, since the governor announced that we can go back into closed rooms, is to get our location. We have the one that we went back to before that is still open for us, and there are a few others. And those people that can't make it, we will continue to let them just tune in with the laptop, or when we get together for social things, we normally have one social thing a month, then they can get together, have brunch or whatever we do, and we could share like that, because we not only have the ladder of skill building, but we have a ladder of social, professional/social building, and how to interact in high level meetings or social situations. That's part of that's why I call it Toastmasters, because back in the day, all of the politics, when you walk in, they gave you a glass of champagne. And that's how the politicians toasted everything and the parties got going.
Phyllis, what about you? Any final words?
I
you'd like to
remember
share?
those champagne breakfasts that were usually free on Sunday morning. Yes, I remember those. But thing of the past right now. But I would say as you get going with the club, even currently, you need to have a flyer. I'm sure there's a place on our website for advertising, and Meetup is absolutely great. Be sure that your club is listed on all of the social media. That's so important. That's where the younger people go to find out everything.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I can tell you that our club has benefited from being a presence on Meetup. We picked up several members who found us on Meetup in the first place. Well, we are about out of time. I do want to thank both of you today. And I also want to acknowledge Carol. Thank you so much. One last message from her. Hold on a minute here. She does cite in her comments that there are clubs in prison for people in the prison population who are seeking to improve their skills for when they return to when they're no longer incarcerated. And let's see, she has a link, a website that I'll be happy to forward to everyone after the show ends. I do want to remind folks that we're into March. And I think if I remember correctly, Phyllis, you can tell me this is Women's Awareness Month or something like that.
Toastmasters International has a webinar.
Yes,
For
on
women in action. Yes,
women in Toastmasters. Yeah, there's a webinar coming up on that. If you need more information, I'll track it down. You can contact me at d115cgd@gmail.com. On March 12th, we will have Educational Enrichment Night. We will have classes, new member orientation, pathways, introduction to pathways, as well as a couple of other wonderful classes. I know Nadia is going to be giving a class on women in business and women in leadership. So it's going to be great. And also it's contest time. Our first round of area contests will be this Saturday, March 5th. Those are areas D2, D3, and D4. So if you need information, it starts at 8 a.m. and it's going to be a wonderful time. I always love a contest season. And that culminates in the May 14th convention. So if you need information on any of that, please get in touch, reach out. If you'd like to be a guest on Wake Up with Toastmasters, please let me know. Thank you everyone for joining us today. We're going to sign off and we will see you again on Thursday, but tomorrow you will have the lovely Jennifer Smith as your host. And I think her co-host is going to be Jean Dunford. So just because Phyllis and I aren't here, there's still a show for you to watch. Thank you and have a great day.
Thank you, Jerry.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, guys. See